My lord, the Spymaster began, his voice low but urgent. This is the third rebel group we've lost contact with in just one cycle. Somehow our agents are being exposed, one after another. The Lord Vizier's expression tightened, the faint ridges along his jaw twitching. He took a long, deliberate sip from his chilled drink, as if that might cool the irritation boiling inside him. Exposed, he repeated slowly. We have crushed uprisings on far more advanced worlds without losing our cover. How is this possible? Did any of the agents leave a trace, a clue, something that explains how they were compromised? The Spymaster glanced down at his data slate, scrolling through encrypted reports with a thumb. Only one survived. He claimed that the entire cell was put through a standard bioscanner, one they thought was routine. But midway through the scan, something triggered an alarm. Within minutes, the others were dead. He was the only one to escape long enough to send a warning. The Vizier's grip tightened on his glass until it creaked. A bioscanner. That should be impossible. Our agents are identical to humans in every measurable way. We even kept their redundant organsy ones. Their biology doesn't need one fully functional, the other a useless decoy. There is no way they could calibrate a scanner to detect the difference. So, what exactly are they finding? The Spymaster hesitated. That alone was unusual. I don't know, my lord, but I will speak to the gene splicers before this cycle ends. Perhaps there was a flaw in the latest batch of clones. The Vizier waved him away with a heavy sigh. The invasion of Earth had gone faster than expected, their fleets securing key territories in weeks. But resistance had sprung up almost immediately and, unlike other conquered worlds, these humans did not scatter when crushed. They adapted, they plotted, and they fought with a stubbornness that felt almost personal. 8 cycles later, the Spymaster returned. His face was grim, his usual confidence replaced by something colder. My lord, we still haven't determined what the humans are detecting. But there are whispers of a weapon, something being built specifically to use against us. I have no specific Sony fragments. The Vizier narrowed his eyes. Could this be a bluff? A trick meant to push us into revealing our own plans? It's possible, the Spymaster admitted, but our infiltrators report that the humans spoke of it with an unusual confidence. It wasn't meant for us to hear a slip of the tongue that was quickly corrected. Corrected how? The Vizier asked sharply. Execution. No, my lord, just harsh words, public shaming, a loss of standing. But even under pressure, that human refused to speak further. The Vizier leaned forward. And if we encourage cooperation, a thin smile spread across the Spymaster's face. Already done, my lord. Days later, that smile was gone. I'm afraid, my lord, that the human's resistance to interrogation is exceptional. The only thing we extracted from him was a bizarre phrase. He said we'd get our comeuppance, like a bad toothbrush bristle. The Vizier's brow furrowed. Isn't that some hygiene device? Yes, my lord. Something they discard after months of use. Harmless unless you believe their fictions. They have a character called MacGyver who could turn anything into a weapon. But that's a story, not reality. The Vizier sat back. Find out what it means. I don't care if you have to search their entire history. 6 cycles later, the Vizier was no longer in his den. He was on the bridge of his personal flagship, his voice sharp with command. Get us airborne immediately. His pilot's hands flew across the controls. My lord, the fusion engines are still igniting. It will take minutes before we can lift off. Then cancel something. Dump something. I don't care. Just move us, my lord. The fusion cycle cannot be rushed. It is physics. Before the Vizier could reply, the pilot's voice faltered. A massive shadow had fallen over the viewport. The Vizier looked up and froze. Dot above their capital city hung an enormous human ship, ugly uneven, built from the scavenged hulls of old spacecraft. From refinery towers and smelter parts the aliens had once allowed the humans to keep running. The vessel should have been a laughable patchwork. Instead, it radiated menace. Even as he watched, a section of the ship began to bulge outward, swelling with purpose. The Vizier's mind flashed back to the Spymaster's final message, sent just before his capture and execution. The humans, he'd said, had confirmed the weapon was real. They called it a runaway fission reaction. At the time, the Vizier had scoffed fission was a filthy, inefficient relic of primitive warfare. But humans had once burned entire cities to ash with it. And then he saw it, painted in massive, uneven red letters across the ship's hull. The appendix. His blood ran cold. The appendix, a worthless scrap of flesh in the human gut. The aliens had omitted it from their infiltrator clones, considering it too trivial to matter. But the humans had noticed, had used its absence as the perfect test to expose every impostor. Radiation alarms wailed. The swollen section of the human ship pulsed with deadly light. The Vizier's throat tightened. We've been undone by a useless piece of flesh. The last thing he saw was a blinding white flash as the appendix detonated, and the alien stronghold vanished in fire.